Hey everybody, just want to do a quick video explaining different kind of locking systems on knives. Now the three I'm going to be going over is liner lock, frame lock, and lockback. Now I got this one right here is a liner lock, so is this one. This one's a liner lock, and this one is as well a liner lock. This one is a frame lock, and this one is a lockback. As you can tell, typically the liner lock is a little more popular and used a little more, but it's actually very similar to a frame lock. So here I have a Kershaw RJ1. As you see, it has a steel liner in here, hence the the name liner lock. And basically what that is it has tension there. So when the blade is in its closed position, the liner automatically pushes over. And when you deploy it, it snaps under the blade to hold it in place. So when you push that blade up, it snaps in place to lock the blade. That way it can't fall back on itself, it can't move. So once you push that liner over, then you can push the blade back into the closed position. That's basically a liner lock. This one, a little harder to see since it's all black. Same thing, it's a little thinner of a liner right there. And as you see, I can push it over. So when I lock this knife, get light through there. When I lock the knife, it pops right on over. So it holds it in place. This one's the same thing. So I can push that liner over, close the blade, pull it over, locks over. Okay, that's basically a liner lock. Hopefully that makes sense. Now frame lock is pretty much the same thing. This one I have here is a Kershaw leak, and see when I open it, you see this part right here. This part right here that's under this blade, you can move this over. It has tension under here. You can move that over to where you can move the blade. So watch when I open it. It pops over and locking the blade. Now some may say, what's the difference between this and a liner lock? The difference is basically with this kind of design, you have the part that moves over is actually a steel liner. It's not part of the handle itself. It's a different part entirely. You got your G10 scales or whatever kind of scales you have, and then on the other side of this you have the steel liners. So the actual liner is the part that is moved over, and the part that has tension there. This one is actually part of the frame. Now you can't really see it since this little pocket clip's in the way. But you can kind of see that in the background, how it has a line right there. So it's separated, so it's pre-bent, that way it has tension. And as you see right there, that little part they kind of carved out, they made it thinner, that way it could bend easier. And so this is actually part of this handle. As you see, this handle that's actually moves over. It's actually part of the handle that moves over and locks. And then same thing with the liner, you push it over to unlock it, and then it moves over to lock it. Same thing, it's just it uses the actual frame instead of a liner, but underneath the frame, which is a liner lock. So that's the difference between that. The final one I have here. Keep in mind there's other kinds of locks. Like for instance, Benchmade has their own kind of lock. There's also I forget the name for it. There's other kinds of locks anyway. But these are pretty much the three most popular ones. Spyderco, for instance, Spyderco uses lockbacks quite a bit, which is what the kind that this is. This is just a real cheap knife I got for like $1. As you can see here, there's no liner or frame that is cut out and moves over at all. There's nothing there. Sorry, I'm doing this with one hand, trying to balance here and focus at the same time. So actually, what locks it is this little metal piece. See this little metal insert on the back of it, hence the Lockback name. And so you got this little thumb groove. All you got to do is basically press down on that, and then the knife unlocks, and then you can close it. And this same mechanism actually helps the knife stay in the handle when it's closed. The same mechanism. So you can see this little part right here actually move when you're opening it. Actually moves up, down again a little bit, and then up right before you're about to click it, and then it locks in place and locks that blade in tight. So then to unlock it, you just click that. And so you got a little pivot point right here, this little pin. So it basically just rocks back and forth, and just kind of maneuvers over the blade in such a way when it opens, it actually kind of closes back on itself. And it's actually got a little tension pin in here. You probably won't be able to see this. Yeah, you won't be able to. I can barely see it from here, but there's a little tension rod in here that actually kind of puts tension on this. That way, you can see it's kind of springy right there. So there's a little tension rod. That actually kind of puts tension that way. You know, it has a tendency to snap back and a tendency to open up like that. That's basically a lockback. So that's just a little brief explanation. Hopefully that was helpful. And check out my other videos. I have some tech-related videos, and then I also have some knife videos that I'm going to be putting up. I already have a couple on there, so check out my channel, subscribe, rate, so on. It really helps a lot. I will subscribe back if you do, so thank you a lot.